Oh, hey, look, it's go live time. I'm sitting here chatting with everybody in the comment section. Man, thought I'd pop on a Saturday night. Yep, tonight's a Gramps live. We'll do a Two Brothers fishing episode when we have like specific topics and whatnot to talk about. But man, I didn't even set up the old and get everything lined up and everything. I'm just all unprepared. Just got done eating a salad from McAllister's because yeah, we wanted something good and quick and decent today. Was out shooting videos today. Went fishing yesterday. It's funny how fast or slow fishing can actually change. Last week I go out, catch my biggest bass of the year. This yesterday I get out, I fish a tournament, one fish, lost like three others. I don't know what it is with me in tournaments, but it must be something about fishing in the morning. I could never, I think only, I don't know how many tournaments I fished. I don't know how many times I've ever caught a 5 fish limit, let alone, having a shot at actually winning anything. But you know what? I don't care. I do them to have fun. It's a challenge sometimes. Yesterday was one of those days. I thought this lake, even though it's been awesome because I fished it a bunch this year after finding it last fall through a friend of mine. It's one of those things where it's like, I think I got to figure it out. I'm going to go spend this spot. And then it rains the night before and completely changes the way the lake fishes. And I don't really want to talk about it because that tournament is still going on. And I don't want to give it an unfair advantage, for the people who are fishing tomorrow and Monday. But it's just, a couple of the guys, there's always somebody that figures them out. And, I should have realized when I saw, a couple of guys up where I started fishing and, they dipped down to where I was for a little bit and then, went back where they were. And then come the end of the day, they pretty much laid the smack to them. But I was so had it in my head that I knew where this one big fish was. And I'd caught, some 18s, 19s, and 20s in this particular area and spent most of the day down there. But then, ended up getting off the water early. I didn't realize what time the tournament ended. So I go get off the boat and I got everything looking. I look and I'm like, oh, wait, this tournament doesn't end till 2:30. But by that time I'd already called Jeremy, who's at my dad's this weekend, and said, hey, you want to get together and go fish this evening? So I went over and hung out with Jeremy. We went out to Boggs, which is a lake by his house. Not a lot of big fish in there. Sometimes you can really get on a bunch of fish. And we spent most of the time just hanging out, BSing and graphing the lake a little bit because it's someplace when Jeremy moves down towards my dad's here in another year or so, then that'll be someplace that, probably be like his home waters versus where he's at now. And so, we were, doing it, just checking out some different points and I'm showing him some different things that I've learned over the last couple of years. But it's just one of those things that sometimes you get on them and sometimes you don't. That's literally fishing. I mean, I fished for 14 hours yesterday and had 2 fish in the boat, one in each lake and both dinks. But that's fishing for you. Not doing any fishing today or tomorrow. A lot of stuff around the house to do. I would say I was going to get a lot of stuff done today, but Grant and I got a new bedroom set we're going to put together tomorrow, and then we sat around and watched the first few episodes of Justified. Love me some Justified. But then went out and shot a video that's the next in the line of the kayak fishing series. So I'll get that edited and up this week. Got a few different videos coming out and playing on my list of stuff to get done. And then it's at some point in time we're going to stop all of the learning and just go out and film pure fishing videos and get the drone and play and all that good stuff too. Probably do some camping. A lot of that more adventure type stuff we'll start throwing up on Two Brothers Outdoors when Jeremy and I get done. Yeah, I see mowing. I actually had to mow earlier this week after changing out both back tires on my zero turn because I pretty much warmed down and I actually popped one. So I need to mow again because last time was just a quick buzz so I could go fishing. Still need to mow some more too, but I wanted to kind of get in tonight, just have a live. Again, Jeremy's not with me tonight. He's hanging out with my dad this weekend. And yeah, it was just an impromptu live. I keep meaning for my next live to be with Tom Brubaker from Lose. Having I've been trying to get some time on his book so we can do the drawing for the Lose tier 1 combo for the June winner of the June Knucklehead series. And then for this July is the last one. We will be giving away this Dakota Lithium 10 power box. But But again, I have to get, I have to get on Tom's schedule, and they had ICast going on, and I know that dude is completely busy. River Ninja says he's down in Chattanooga. I actually have family down there in Chattanooga. Well, I did. Did they all move? I think an aunt and uncle still. Yeah, they're in Knoxville. I grew up always going to Chattanooga because I had cousins and an aunt and uncle that lived there. I think I still have one set of cousins that live there, maybe two, and the rest of them have dispersed around Tennessee and Knoxville. Knoxville, and yeah, I got family in Tennessee all over the place. But yeah, we used to go down to Chattanooga all the time. We go up to Lookout Mountain when we were down visiting, and love me some Chattanooga too. But see, we got all kinds of folks in the house tonight. But as I was saying, Jeremy's down visiting my dad this weekend. So he's not, they don't have very much internet. They might be watching, but I don't think there's enough there for him to stream. I got to get Jeremy's, yeah, everybody's your cousin down there. Well, it's like my mom had 5 brothers and a sister, and 4 of her 5 brothers, I think, moved to Tennessee. So it's just one of those things. So we're split between, the Rocky Top and the Hoosiers up here too. So just what kind of the way it goes. But, if I could ever talk Gran into moving down South Tennessee, be a place I love, but I ain't going to ever get her away from her grandbabes. That is faux show. But let me roll back up through because I haven't said hi to everybody. See, of course, Sly Fox Fishing, he's going to be in here early. Saw he was out catching some tanks for Team Gramps Knucklehead today. Scott, Doug, Michael Bradley's in the house. Liz is in the chat as always, our first of our fishing team that's going down to Hero Cup on Veterans Day weekend. Got Michael Bradley. We got, who else we got in the house? It's all kinds of people in here. Josh Lanham, Tom Brewster. Had a great time meeting everybody at the Freedom Squad meetup recently. We got 513 Plumbing in the house. River Ninja, all kinds of people popping in. Faith First Fishing. Good to see everybody in the house. Hope everybody got to go out and do some fishing this weekend. I always say got when I go live. My weekend of fishing is always on Fridays. I work 4 10s throughout the week, so I'm off on Friday. So that's generally my fishing day. And I always, when I get to like a Saturday night, I act like, everybody's already been, but, it's only Saturday too. Yeah, Mike, I remember in the good old days when yeah, you can go really smack them at bogs, but they're starting to get a little bit bigger. I went out there a couple weeks ago. It was kind of funny on a Wednesday after work, and it was just post-spawn, and I think they were, sitting on points starting to move out. And man, I just laid a smack into them, and I bet I caught 30 or 35 fish between 16 and 18 inches. It was actually really good, but it was nice to see those fish getting bigger after, they drained the lake for the second time. And, I think that's going to be a heck of a fishery here in a few years. Trevor Wagner says he just got back from a kayak tourney. Yeah, like I was saying, I don't know what it is with me in tournaments some days. If I'm doing a month long, I'll find them. And I always like, I don't know what it is. I tend to catch them better in the afternoon. I could catch them better in the afternoon and evening. It seems like always than in the morning, but I don't know what it is lately. I just, every tournament I fish, I just am not ever getting on them. But I mean, that's just the way it goes. Trevor says he's listening on the road. Well, hopefully, I do that quite often when I'm coming back from tournaments. I'll throw in a live stream if somebody's on, or, half the time it's like I'm coming back from the lake and Debo and Dizzle are talking with whoever their guest is, and keeps me entertained, and I'm driving back as well. So I know exactly what you mean. I'll only be running. I won't run very long tonight. I just wanted to pop in and talk about a few different things. And man, so it's just I'm flustered. Man, it's hard. You would think after all the stuff I plan to get done today, I didn't get hardly anything to get done. But you know what? Sometimes you got to take some time for yourself and just chill, relax. And it can't always be about YouTube. It can't always be about getting on the water. I'd wear myself out every weekend if I could, and I'd never have time to shoot videos or edit because, it's until I get to the point where I'm literally doing nothing but like Greg Blanchard, John B., Christine Fisher, just on the water videos. That's where I want to get someday. But, we love talking about gear and stuff like that too. So that's hard to say. Funny thing is, I talked to Graham earlier this week, and they are finally finishing up the showroom at American Legacy Fishing, getting all their stuff priced and put back out on the floor. But I'm telling you, right now, if you guys are looking for rods and reels and you want to save some money right now, they just listed up the biggest inventory of used stuff that 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 they've ever had. I mean, I think this is the most. I think this is the most they've ever had on there. So if you're looking for rods and reels and you want to save some bucks, and I'm telling you, folks, when people think there's a stigmatism to buying used, it ain't it ain't Facebook Marketplace, folks. You can find. I mean, I've pulled so many rods and reels from their used inventory. Save some money. It's like buying that, it's 2023 when somebody turns in the truck off a lease and you want to save some money and you go buy the 2020 or 2021 model. It's just a way to save some big bucks. So go check out American Legacy Fishing. Check out their used inventory. There's probably a rod or reel in there that you might be looking for. Frank says he's getting ready to head out to the pond and be listening to you and Debo catching fish. Hey, that's the way to do it, brother. Get out there and be out there getting some casts in. But yeah, I look forward to that too. So, let's talk a little bit too, because, speaking of that, a couple of things I wanted to talk about now, and I normally don't do a lot of recaps on ICast and all of that. Actually, let me pause for a second too, because I got to pull up the YouTube studio. That it lets me monitor kind of the content and the traffic, and that way, if we get any trolls or Russian spammers coming in there, I normally kick that off before I go live, but I forgot to do that. I got into the chat and then it was like, oh, it's time to go live. So I just hit the button, but I always got to keep this studio up in the background, just to be safe too. So yeah, the Facebook Marketplace is one of those things. It's like OnlyFins and the place. But yeah, Josh said he got a Shimano 70 MGL for 102. It's way, and that's a great reel too. Jeremy just got one, as a gift recently, and that's the one I use for like my it's the joke and running in it. That's my frog fishing punch setup, and that is just a great reel. It's one of the only ones I actually keep braid on because I don't use braid for many things. But a great reel. So again, if you're looking for some good used quality stuff, American Legacy Fishing, big dump going on right now. I saw all kinds of Dobbins, G. Loomis. And I mean, I just did a quick search and then I had to shut it off because I'm like, I don't need more. I got too much stuff that I'm playing with right now. Anywho. Frank says it's trying hard to walk out here with just 5 rods instead of the usual 15. Yeah, I hear you there. It's kind of funny because I recently picked up 5 different, I added 4 monster bass rods to my arsenal from the original test demo that they had because I want to go beat those up. And I'm actually going to do that during the KBF Smallie series that I'll talk about here in a minute. But after watching the rod builder join Rick on Monster Bass Live and talk about the way they do it, at that value and that price point, just so far from what I've seen, and I always look at rods from a couple of different perspectives. The $100 price point range or around in there for what you get versus, what it's costing. Because, you've got the Guggen rods at that price point. 6 Cents has rods at that price point, Abu, Luz, and then combos and things like that too. And a lot of the times, it's if you're buying a combo, the rod that comes with it is probably garbage. But, like the Guggen Green, the 6 Cents, rods in that series, and, a few other people who make rods in that price range. I got to give Monster Bass credit for the guy that they partnered with to build these rods, because I was actually more impressed than I thought I was going to be. And there's some features on those rods that we'll talk about when I kind of go into a more depth, review that I haven't seen except in put in higher end rods. So, I want to give them a check because everybody knows I fish with G. Loomis and Shimano and Dobbins. And, sometimes, a lot of times that's out of a lot of people's price points. And, I also like judging rods in, affordable categories for those just getting started or trying to get, into maybe tournament fishing, stuff like that too. So I want to go through and beat those up because for me, the best bang for the buck rod in that price point is the Shimano Corrado line. And a lot of people don't even really know that Shimano has a line of bass rods in that price range. And, it's something to be said for affordable quality rods for people just getting started in their first, high school or college, or just getting into looking for something a little bit better than what you find at your local box store. So again, we'll play with some of those too. We'll check those out, and then when I get done with them, I'll talk about what I'll do with those later in another episode. But I've got a veteran targeted that I may look at helping out. That being said, I mean, man, we're already 15 minutes in and got a few things to talk about. ICast was, this last week. People always ask me if I go to ICast or want to. One of these days, I think I will. Maybe next year. I didn't this year because right now we have we're so focused on finishing up the tournament season, and next year I'll probably back off doing a lot of different tournament stuff. If you guys have been following along, and my brother Jeremy's a disabled veteran. He's got one bad arm, and they may have to do a surgery over the winter that, he'll keep use of his hands, but his pectoral muscle is it's been torn and reattached, but reattached badly. So they may have to do some surgery on that. So he may not be able to fish as hard or at a higher level than he has, in the past. So he's really going for it to try to do very well at the KBF State Challenge Series National Championship that's going to be done on Gunnersville in October. Jeremy and I both qualified, so we're both going to go. He's been working at getting the max amount of points in the State Challenge Series each month, which is, his goal is to stay in the top 5 for each of those to carry those points into the national championship. And that way, if he wins it, then he can win the whole, he'll be the Challenge Series national champion. GRAMPS is just qualified enough to go. So if I win it, I could win that tournament, but not that whole title. And I think did I take advantage of the special at ALF or Corrado M to pre-order? I don't have to do that because I'm partnered with American Legacy. Basically, when they get some in stock, if I want to review it, I'll go get it. I will probably grab one of those. I'll probably grab one of the new, is it the Stradic that they just did a re-release on? So no, I don't. When it comes to geared American Legacy, I can check out and review anything I want to play with. That's that's part of my partnership. I don't get paid, but that's part of my partnership with them. I get to kind of play with anything I want and do reviews on it and give you guys my honest opinion of it, because they carry it all. They're not brand specific. So I'm free to give a thumbs up or thumbs down or whatever I think based on, my own opinions. There's a lot of people out there that are way more advanced in their fishing journey, and they're very gear specific towards certain brands, and they know everything, in American Legacy, elite and regular Facebook groups. You have guys that know everything there is to know about every Dobbins rod, every G Loomis, every Daiwa, series, and the same thing with all the rods and this and that. But I have that luxury of getting to kind of stay independent and kind of pick and choose what I want. A lot of the stuff that I have back here over my corner is Loomis, Shimano, and Dobbins. And that's kind of like my tournament setup. But I've played with a lot of other stuff to get there too. And, because I specifically fish from a kayak the most, there's things that I look for in some rod series that, for example, like in the NRX Plus, they put their hook keepers down at the bottom a lot of times. And that drives me insane because as a kayak angler, most of my rods, instead of sitting on a boat deck, they're sitting in rod tubes, and I want the baits up above instead of down below. I don't want to have, I don't want to take and rig, a shaky head worm at the bottom of my rod and then drop it down in that rod tube. It's just one of those things too. But, yeah. Oh, Jay Wood. Yeah, no problem, dude. Yeah, I saw that, and I'm glad to see you posting up there and a lot of great looking pictures of being out there too. So not a problem at all. I try to interact with everybody on Instagram and Facebook as much as I can. If you're out there creating content, I'm right there with you. I want to support everybody else just like y'all support me too. So, gotta love it. But, so let's get into it. And I'm, this live is not a specific topic. If you're listening or watching to this on a replay, I say listening as if I'm posting these out on the podcast platforms. I'm not doing that yet, but I will as soon as Jeremy and I sit down and start making topic specific content worthy of a podcast. But again, this is all about, responding to everybody in the comments in the chat while we're here. And if you're watching this back on replay, I'll do the best I can to repeat the question or whatever that comes across the chat if you don't see it in the chat later. But my big thing is ICast. Let's just talk about it a little bit. And, I completely jumped off the topic of that. So people ask me, why have I not gone to ICast? And right now we're just focused on tournaments. Next year, when the tournament focus is not our primary focus, we're going to keep obviously trying to qualify for the KBF National Championship. Eventually, we would like to travel around and go fish some of the Bassmaster events. And, well, how can you support KBF and Bass? I support it all, guys. And that's the key thing. Everybody acts like in this community that you have to pick one or the other. I obviously don't do the Hobie events because they require human powered, which is pedal or paddle. And I don't do either one of those anymore, even though, in the future I might have a paddle kayak again. But Jeremy and I are both life members of Bassmaster. So obviously we would like to fish and support some of the Bassmaster stuff. I'm also a life member of KBF. And, as long as KBF is supporting the Catch22 Knucklehead stuff for not just the pros, I'm in it 100%. I love the fact that they're so versatile that they have a little bit of something for everything. River Ninja wanted to know if Jackson Kayak was at ICast. They weren't at ICast, and neither was Hobie. Hobie seems to be having, and if you have a Hobie, I'm not crapping on you or your brand, but they seems to have problems dealing with their warranty issues right now. Seems like ever since they sold out the company was bought by, I don't know who bought them in Mexico, but there's been more and more videos popping up where people aren't getting the warranty support they thought they were getting. Alias just did he shared some experiences that he's had recently as well as, but again, we want to start going to ICast, but this year, the focus is just doing the tournament thing while Jeremy still can. After that, we plan on taking this channel and Two Brothers Outdoors more into a recreational fishing kind of thing. And when I say recreational fishing, kayak camping and just kayaking and, creek fishing and other stuff like that too. And, but, I'll always do like month-long tournaments, so that way I'm uploading fish whenever I'm out. And that's just a fun thing. And there's a lot of veteran charities that are based around those, month-long things too. Yeah, Jason says he wants to get into more kayak tournaments next year, just getting more comfortable doing it. Man, 100%, dude. Just take your time, ease in. That's the great thing about the month-long events like Knucklehed and Catch22. You learn how to do all the basics, no pressure, no times, no things like that. And then when you develop your skills as an angler and you want to compete against other folks, I've been getting my ass handed to me by the guys that's grown up fishing these lakes. And yeah, 100%. And it's just one of those things where it's always fun to get into the tournament stuff, but I don't want that to be the focus. This channel is fishing with Gramps. It's not kayak fishing with Gramps. It's not tournament fishing with Gramps. I need to get out and just do more fishing and have fun. I put so much pressure on myself sometimes to do the teaching thing, to go fish tournaments, and then I get my ass kicked, and it's like, oh, I suck. I shouldn't. Who am I to tell anybody else when I can't go catch them? Whatever. I enjoy it because I like being out there. For one, I love meeting new people, and I love meeting new people who share the same passion I do. So I'm never going to say I don't want to win, and I'm not going to try to win, but I have to look at it from the perspective of I'm trying to promote the sport as a way to get more people to go out and try something new and meet more people who share this passion of fishing that we have, be it from a boat, the bank, the kayak, whatever it is. But it takes a lot. It takes a lot for me to have to take it up and take my lucks and stuff. Just get my butt handed to me every time I go out there. But some days you're on them, and some days you're not. Someday, apparently, maybe I'll get some consistency as I learn these lakes a little better, pattern the fish each year, and just go do And that's Jay Walls. That's exactly what I want to do, especially in the summertime. When it gets hot and the bass are hard to find. I have full respect for those dudes who can just go out and smack the bass every time they're out. But I just want to go fishing and catch fish. And, them crappie salads start to kick my ass. Sorry. But, 100%. I want to go get into more fishing too, not just bass fishing all of the time. But that's just the way it is. There's mainstream fishing popping in the house. What's up, brother? But it's one of those things. Yeah, and crappie are delicious too. I keep saying I'll catch because I got my boat. I need to go put more time in the boat. But every time I think I'm going to do that, something else fun comes along. All right, enough of the distractions. ICast. So for those of you who watch all the ICast footage, tell me what you think. What was your hits and misses? I saw a lot of iCopy and everybody talking about Berkeley and Rapala and all this other stuff. I gotta start off by talking about Old Town. A lot of people's like, man, who's gonna spend $6,500 or $6,000 for an e-pedal kayak? I look at it this way. You know what I'm saying? I look at it this way. They brought something new to the table. And, do I have the need for an e-pedal, big water, kayak? No, but you have to start somewhere, right? And so I can see the logic behind why they chose the model they did, even though it's been out for a while, because they've obviously been working on this for a few years. And it probably took a few years for it to, become worthy of being on the water and being launched. And for those people who saltwater fish or fish big lakes and, don't do the whole motor thing, I get it. But it's one of those things where you have to launch something. It's going to be super expensive at first. And then over, 5-10 years, it obviously comes down in prices. Sorry, now I'm dry. But I can see it, those guys who fish offshore, way out there. Now, you guys who get out there and chase those big sea monsters, the fish that are bigger than what you're fishing, and you see sharks coming up biting the kite. Okay, I get it. There's people who do that, right? And these boats are for those guys. So, they can pedal out if they want. They can use their motor to get back and forth. You have to start somewhere. And yeah, like Cooler AP said, I'm sure it's going to be available in the Sportsman line soon. And obviously that's, the first thing. You got to put it out. You got to beat the crap out of it. And yeah, I mean, some people say that, if you're, you wish AP came with a battery, but then there's some people who, like the option to be able to choose either $300 Chins battery from Walmart or, like me, the 100 amp Dakota Lithium. You pay more for it, but I know that thing's going to be around and last as long as I need it to be too. But, we'll see those electric powered pedal, come down into the Sportsman line soon. But you know what? It's out there. We've seen it. It can only get better from here. Am I little? And I'm not gonna. Do I wish it was longer than a 2-year warranty on the e-pedal? That would make sense to me. But I don't know why you would limit something like that to a 2-year warranty. But the idea, the thought, the innovation was pretty cool. And if I didn't have a kayak right now and they had the e-pedal and the auto if I didn't have a kayak right now and I was just shopping, or say I had a paddle kayak, and I was looking to move into something that I would love to see that e-pedal in the Sportsman 120. For me, that could do a little bit of everything. I can pedal around in lakes that require, pedal only, because there are some that don't do even electric trolling motors. But then, if I'm fishing in some places that are smaller ponds or even bigger, I like the fact that I can still pedal, because that was one reason why I love my pedal kayak was I called it fisher sizing. I actually miss that now because I'm not getting that aerobic activity that I was, pedaling a kayak with that drive. So I would actually go out and I would paddle it a little bit, and then I would pedal it a little bit. But if I had my dream, and again, I know they've had to focus on the saltwater guys first because they've kind of ignored those guys for a while. But I would love to see the Sportsman 120 with the e-pedal come out next year. That would be kind of cool. I mean, that would be kind of cool. That would be something I would consider getting, because it does a little bit of everything that I would want it to do. I could pedal when I want. I could use the motor to get from spot to spot on bigger lakes. And then, it's just one of those things. And then, like Elizabeth says, she paddles 90% of the time. And a lot of people do. But if you've got torn rotator cuffs and other issues like Jeremy with his arm, the pedal drive is a little better. And I could see Jeremy, if they put that out in the Sportsman 110, or the Sportsman 106. That would be perfect for Jeremy because it gives him a little bit of motorized stuff so he can pedal with his legs, but he could actually go from spot to spots on bigger lakes. It's one of those things that would kind of help him out to keep him from having to add, a third-party motor on the back and deal with all the rudder stuff too. So I think this was a good launch. I think it's going to help them going forward as they move it into their Sportsman line. Probably, maybe, once the economy settles down, the price can come down a little bit too. We'll see how that goes. But the big one that grabbed my attention was the Titan X. It seems like they took everything that's in every fishing kayak that you want to accessorize and put it all in one package. So if you want a bow mount, XI3 trolling motor up front, boom, easy to add. Already got the mount there. You want to put a Torpedo or a Newport on the back, because you like the rear stuff, boom, they got the mounts and everything there. You want the dual power pole, boom. You just want a pedal kayak that you can build and make your own. Man, that thing's going to be awesome. They're going to have a 10.5-foot version and that 12.5-foot version. Solid job by Native for coming out. They took everything about what they've learned from their kayaks over the last few years and really did a good job of launching a good, solid fishing kayak focused series called the Titan X. So I give them high praise for what they did there. So we saw, a few different, innovation changes, things like that too. But listening to their customers is for Titan, listening to their customer feedback for what they wanted in that kayak series. I think they did a bang up job too. Yeah, and sometimes they did look at making it better, and it's like we've provided feedback to Old Town in the future for we always talk about how can we make the boats better. Like the Autopilot 120 is my favorite kayak of all. You all know I love the Cadillac for everything it does. If I were dreaming, I would love to see, and of course Minn Kota just came out with this, but their new brushless motors. I'd love to see a bigger motor in an Autopilot that that was faster, quieter, and really move things along. If I was super dreaming, and it's kind of hard to do because it's not always easy for them to kind of marry everything together. But I'd love to see them have Humminbird talk to the Minn Kota in the Autopilot. I mean, could you imagine a day where you pull up your Solix, and of course we're dreaming because this is super expensive stuff. But hey, if you're going to buy that instead of a bass boat, then maybe that's your price range. But I would love to be able to pull up a Solix touchscreen Humminbird, and I pop onto the lake, I launch out from the ramp, I pull up my map, and I tap the screen where my waypoint is, and my kayak takes me there. How awesome would that be? So I'm throwing in my 2 cents to say, hey, if y'all work with with Humminbird and all that, maybe I'm dreaming. Maybe in 10 years that's where we go. In the video I shot today, I was talking about accessories. And, it's one of those things that, I said, look how far we've come in 10 years. And we used to all, we were out there in the Walmart sit-in kayaks with a milk crate, all strapped to the back with a couple of junky, rod tube holders hanging off of it. And, you couldn't lean one way or the other without rolling over in that stupid thing. But, so who says we can't dream big? If I got a kayak that's got a platform on it, and you got Minn Kota and Humminbird and Old Town, it would be cool if they could say, you know what, we're going to come up with the perfect kayak angler's dream, the true Cadillac of it. Just have the one boat network and all that where everything works together. It would be kind of cool. But, it's just, pie in the sky type stuff. But, I'm here to provide that feedback. And, maybe someday we'll see it come to fruition. Who knows? But, I wasn't really impressed with a lot of baits and releases here and there. I do like the redesign of the I guess my ICast winner, if I'm going to talk about it in baits, was probably the chatterbait Evo, the evolution of the chatterbait. One of the knocks on chatterbaits, or the jackhammer in specific. And I don't know if that's just because of their relationship with Evergreen on the jackhammer design. I don't know if that partnership ended, or maybe there was a certain time, but chatterbait coming out with the Evo model for $9.99 versus $15 gives you all the great features of a it gives you all the great features of a jackhammer with but different painted blades, wire tied skirts, different bait keepers, so that if you're using Elastec or soft plastics, I keep hiccuping. I'm sorry, y'all, but it's one of those things where I think that is the next generation chatterbait. Because I won't lie, after I started fishing with the Mini Max, I was like that. I found the perfect jackhammer. I found the perfect chatterbait. I don't need anything else. But then I had to get to thinking, I still need a little bit those bigger ones for fishing deep water. If I'm fishing 15 foot deep and I'm going to bang that jackhammer or chatterbait off of rocks, and get it down, in deeper water than you normally would. But I think the chatterbait evolution, or the Evo, was a hit for me. I don't know that there was anything else out there. Somebody asked me what my thoughts of a swinging Ned. I'll be the first to say this. I have not been impressed with a single bait that has the hinged swinging hook for whatever reason, no matter what it is. And I've had several of the 6 Sense and all those other ones. For me, the hookup ratio with swinging baits, as they call them, is garbage. I mean, I've just not had good luck. It's just one of those. It's just one of those things. I just have not had good luck with any of the swinging, pivot point things on any of those. If it's a fixed head in the whatever, it seems to work better. What was this? Wait, what? Andy Leonard said he started pelling, but not for long. You won an NK 180 Wednesday night. How did you win a Newport Vessels NK 180? That is awesome. Our friend Bobby, Mr. Sandwich Searcher, who's changed his name to Lunks and Lunkers on Instagram. Locks and Lunkers, that's what it is, because he's got dreads. He says he probably shouldn't be Sandwich Searcher because everybody thinks he's eating the bass. Has anybody had luck with the Z-Man Hellraiser? Yes. And if you want to see it in action on a day that I was getting absolutely, it was probably about a year ago I made that video. If you want to see a day where I was catching 0 fish and I picked that stupid, weird-looking Hellraiser up and proceeded to smack like 6-7 fish in a row as the sun was going down, including a 20-incher 5-pounder at the end of the day, go check my channel for the Hellraiser video. It was a commercial that nobody else could have made, because, man, that was just insane. But yeah, I've had pretty good luck with the Hellraiser. It's hard to get me to throw anything else. I'll still throw a buzzbait every now and then. And the funny thing was, last year the Hellraiser caught me my PB smallmouth until I beat that earlier this year with a thunder cricket. It was kind of funny. But yeah, so for me, the ICast was, just nothing super groundbreaking, nothing new baits that just, here's a brand new innovative. It seemed to be all copies or redos or, other models of other things. But I've got 3 different colors of it. I think that night I was throwing the bone, but I've got some clearer ones for, clearer water and stuff like that too. That's actually the one that caught the Smallie because I was fishing it on. But yeah, you just whip it out there and, just let it do its dance. If they're hitting top water, they're going to come up and get it. Just one of those things, but it does not float. So if you're a whopper plopper type person, it's one of those things too. But yeah, Liz has got that hot and humid weather down there in Florida. Of course, we all hate that for her, since she was fishing in, January and February while we were up here playing in the snow. But I can't talk. And of course, the one time I go to Florida and I meet Liz down there, it's like 27 degrees. I must have brought it with me. But it's one of those things. So ICast for me was kind of a wah kind of thing. If anybody has anything super cool that they saw there that they just, have to chat about, I wanted to go ahead and jump into where we're at with the Knucklehead here in July. We have a new player who's taken over the lead. I mean, man, we the July challenge in Knucklehead. I was thinking my boy John Gittner from Indiana was going to be joining us on the, we might have had an all Hoosier team on Team Gramps, but Mr. Jason Oliveira down in Mississippi has Mr. Jason Oliveria down in Mississippi has been smacking some tanks down there. I mean, he's got a 23, 2 20s, an 18, and a 15. So, I mean, he's going to probably find another upgrade and, jump well over the 100-inch mark. But, I mean, that's not to say that Levi up in Wisconsin, I think it was, can't lay the smack down on some. And then I'll never count out my boy here from Indiana, Mr. John Gittner. He's got plenty of room for upgrades as well. So, I mean, they're really been out there putting the smackdown on them. Michael from up in New York was waylaying. He's sitting in 4th. Our friend Daniel Pierce is 6th. And, here's to say, folks, you can't say that bank anglers don't have a chance because he's right there at 90 inches with still, got another week to go. We had Jim Hamill, who won last month, has got 88. Kind of scrolling through, saw Troy's. And don't we get going here too fast. There's Charles Fox right next door. Look at that. I got to let old Jeremy know that Sly Fox has passed him. Jeremy's been slacking on uploading the fish. Okay, to be fair, I told him he couldn't upload any more fish to Knucklehead. He's actually sitting at like 90-something in the Indiana State Challenge. But good old Sly Fox out there putting the smack down, chill catching fish for Team Gramps. And, I love seeing and hearing the comments from everybody out here participating. Let me just get this to a list, make it a little easier. But we have so many fishing fan members that are in this, and I love seeing it. I'm surprised my boy Alex hasn't thrown up any more fish. I think he forgot about us. He caught that 22, and I know he's been fishing in some derbs. But, who knows? But I love seeing everybody play. We had 26 people in it this month. And thank you guys again for supporting the Knucklehead Bass Fishing Series. But, it looks like this time next week we will be announcing the final slot winner for Team Gramps down there on Hero Lake. So that should be fun too. But, that's pretty cool. See, River Ninja was asking about big cats in the boat. I caught a 7-pound catfish last weekend, and then I just dumped him right back in the water because I didn't feel like I better not let my cousins hear that because they'll be mad that I didn't bring him over and talk about it too. But I just didn't want to slime everything up trying to get it back to the house. Trevor said it was 99 at his tournament today. It's funny. I mean, I can't catch 99 inches of fish in a month long, and some of these people go out whack that much in a day. But you know what? Someday when it's your day and you found the spot and they're there, it's just one of those things. But, it's fun. But I still look forward to everybody who wants to come down and meet up with everybody down at the Knucklehead gathering, if you will, on Veterans Day weekend right there in Huntsville, Alabama. That should be a blast. You talk about a gathering that will be fun to make a video of. I had fun doing the Freedom Squad meetup, but seeing everybody down there at the Knucklehead, everybody getting together and getting to meet everybody in person, it's going to be an awesome, awesome time. For all you smallmouth anglers out there, let me go back to this and this. I am going to be doing something different over the next month. It's funny, living here in Indiana, you would think I would, but I've never really been that big into smallmouth fishing. And, for whatever reason, we catch little ones here or there, but I don't think I've caught 5 total in my life just because I've always wanted to chase big bass. I mean, that's just the way I was. I never really cared about smallies. Largemouth bass were always my focus in life because that's what we had a lot of around here in the ponds and places I fish. And since I really didn't fish a lot of creeks and rivers and stuff like that, it just wasn't something I did. Now, Jeremy used to fish for him a lot after I left for the Army and all that. He fished the river that we grew up around, and he would catch them there too. But I just was never really into it. For me, it's always been chasing that big, fat, green granny. Just couldn't help it. Every time I go, I'm always looking for my next biggest bass. But that being said, KBF kind of heard everybody talking about, through Catch22 and Knucklehead and all the regular state challenge series. There's never anything that kind of highlights the smallmouth bass because, everybody's like, oh, when you do these nationwide tournaments and things like that, only the people in Florida, Georgia, Alabama, California, Texas, they're the only ones that can win, right? Well, you know what? If you have a smallmouth only series, hey, there's big smallies down south. but there's also big smallies up north. So this is going to be kind of a really cool summer series that runs over the next couple of months. It runs from today, it opens actually, and you can join at any time. And then it ends the end of August or end of September. Yeah, 9/30/23. So you know what? I'm actually going to take this opportunity. I'm actually going to take this opportunity to put all of my other tournament stuff aside and focus on this. Now, of course, if I catch fish, largies too, that's more fish for, for Catch22. But you know what? I have never really just said I'm going to take the time to go learn to catch smallies and try to put some on the board. So here's my goal. Now, I set my Smallie PB at the beginning of the year, and I keep saying I need to break my PB for largemouth, but I'm actually may set that aside. I mean, if it happens, it's going to happen, but I really planned on taking this time of the year, these next couple of months, to go out and do nothing but chase a big smallmouth bass here in Indiana. But you know what? I'm actually going to put that aside, and I'm actually going to take the time to go learn myself how to catch smallies, and I'll share that adventure with you guys. And this is me being the beginner. I mean, a lot of you guys follow me for learning how to fish and this and that, or you also fish and you follow along for some of the tournament stuff we do. But man, I really want to become a student of the smallmouth bass. I want to go spend some time in the creeks and the rivers and try to get better at it. And I think this will be a fun way to do it. And I'll see how big, of smallies I can catch. I fully expect Bobby and Jeremy being up there around Indianapolis, where that section of the White River that feeds down from up north is loaded with big smallies. I expect them guys to probably put 90, 100 inches on the board. I'm just going to try to catch 5, and then I'll keep trying to improve from that. And that's not to say I'm not going to travel north and try to find bigger smallies. But what this is going to allow me to do is I am going to take this opportunity to jump, in the kayak and the creeks and rivers that are down here by me and just try to put 5 on the board. Try to learn a little bit about smallmouth fishing. And then I'm going to start taking trips, and we'll go farther north where better smallies hang out and see if we can't find some bigger ones. But the goal here for me will be to kind of share what I learn as I go along the way. You may have creeks with smallies in it, and it's not something you've ever thought about. And maybe if I can, share kind of my little adventure and learning and, what to look for smallies and so forth, maybe it'll inspire you to go out and try to find some yourself. So again, I'm going to start out with my local waters, where, I've never heard of any, bigger smallies that are down here. But, hey, if I find some 12s and 13s and 14s, whatever, I'll go see. I may enlist the help of, my neighbors just to the north of me, the puddle walkers, outdoors guys. I see them creek fishing for smallies all the time. So maybe I can pick up some stuff from their channel and maybe get some advice from them of, how to get started and whatnot too. So I think that would be a fun way to do it. I've had them on the channel before. And maybe I'll do like a collaboration with them where I can kind of get like a smallie primer and, just go learn how to catch smallmouth bass. But those little ferocious bastards are fun to, they're going to demonetize this video. But those little ferocious, fighters should be fun too. So I'm going to take some time and put down all the other kind of stuff and go out and have some good time. Just learning how to fish for some smallies. I think it'd be a good time. But be a great way to break up the monotony. A lot of the lakes and ponds, it just gets so hot. Those fish get deep, the largies. So maybe if I get into some moving waters and really try to learn, it could be pretty cool. So we'll see how that goes. Andy says that Berkeley and Kentucky Lake are filling up with some smallies too. That's awesome. But I just wanted to take this opportunity to go through. And the cool thing is, if you're a traditional smallie, they've already got 127 people signed up, and people are already uploading fish. That's awesome. But they've got some rules where it's a little bit different than KBF because you can wade fish, because a lot of the creeks and all that too, you'll have to drag your kayak in some places too. So they have it where you can, be in the river creek with the kayak, but you can wade fish. You can also have it tethered to you. Some people do that so that they're, hopping in and out, standing next to their kayak. You just have to take the picture, but make sure you read the rules, check it out. It looks like a fun series. I already see some guys from Indiana. Oh, shoot, Bobby, look at there. Mr. Salmon Searcher Locks and Lunkers is already out there, and he's got 54 inches loaded up. Randall Kaiser's another Indiana angler. He's already got, a couple of them out there fired up too. So Jeremy said he's going to sign up this week when he gets back from Dad's. So it should be pretty fun too. So I think that is going to be an awesome series, and it should be pretty fun too. But, I love the fact that KBF is finding a way to get all kinds of different folks in to play in a lot of these different things, online too. It's always fun to kind of go out and challenge yourself and see how you do, or, beat your buddies in your local region. So obviously out there to be trying to beat Jeremy and those guys. But if you're big into smallmouth fishing, hey, hop into that. There's going to be a kayak given away based on, that's going to come out of there. And that's not for a winner. It's going to be a random drawing. And then they're going to have, different prize packages for first, second, and third, at the end of the season too. So that should be pretty cool. Anywho, so yeah, enough of that. Where we at? 8:21. We got about 10 minutes before Debo goes live. And yeah, if you guys are out there still doing Catch22, please continue to upload fish. Even though if your fish is smaller than the stuff that you've already got loaded, please go ahead and upload it, because we're trying to beat the 22,000 fish that we had last year. And we're well on the way to doing that. Love seeing everybody participate that one. You guys know that's my favorite charity event of the season, because it includes everybody, whether you're a bank, boat, kayak, whatever, however you fish, whatever species you fish, you can get out there. There's a section there for you. And we're donating this year to Heroes on the Water, and, an organization close to me and Jeremy's hearts, as you guys well know. Did I have anything else? Anybody else got anything else? They got 10 minutes, comments, questions, whatever. If not, then I'm going to get off of here early and go watch the Braves play, because, love me some Braves. Carolina says she hasn't uploaded in unless it's over 15 inches. Oh, no, keep uploading. If you have time, just snap the picture, upload it. It'll cull, so it won't add to your current leaderboard, but it adds to the total count. And Matt and I are always reminding Jeremy that when he's out hunting for bigger fish for his, monthly challenges. It's like, bro, take the picture, upload it, because we need them for Catch22. Matt says, go Brewers. Yeah, no. Well, that was a good game last night, and we'll see how they do tonight too. So should be a good series. If I'd like to see Matt Riley hit another home run and tie the club record for 5 games in a row. But I love talking to other baseball fans too, because that is one of my favorite pastimes. I used to love playing baseball. I used to love coaching baseball. And then, of course, I've watched the Braves forever. I took a time where I tried to watch the Reds here for a little while. But there's my cousin, Brian. But I just cannot stand the owners of the Reds. It seems like they trade away everybody. Even though this year the boys have turned around, because, yeah, Brian, I still keep track of what they're doing. They've called up a lot of good guys, and they are looking really, really good. But my heart's always been with the Braves. I went to, I watched them when they were in their World Series runs back in the 90s, and that's just where all my history is. But I go to quite a few Reds games, because that is the closest, place for me, and I'm always that a-hole who wears my Braves gear when I go. But if we just go down there and then I'm not watching the Braves, then I'll put my Reds gear on, because the Reds have always been my second favorite team, just because they're close here to Indiana as well. Didn't realize the Brewers still had a team. It's after the All-Star break now. This is where it's going to get wild and fun, with all the trades and everything coming up too. So yeah, still love me some baseball. It's one of my favorite things in the world. Yeah, Indiana Hoosiers and Braves baseball. Those are 2 teams I never miss any games. Yeah, and it's hard sometimes if your team's having a down year. It's just the way it goes. No, Matt, like I said, Crawford worked a radio engineer, Milwaukee Braves in early Atlanta days. Yep. That's cool. That is awesome too. But yeah. Let's see. Did I have anything else? Fishing chaos talk about? No, I just wanted to get with you guys in chat tonight. You know, it seems like I don't get to do this often, but you know, sometimes I just want to ramble on and do what we do and have everybody come and hang out with me on a Saturday night. I know the lives are a little early. I'm trying to go a little bit before Debo. Hopefully, like I said, I'm trying to get back on a schedule where we do our Wednesday evenings. But I just wanted to get in here and sit down and chit chat for a little bit tonight, and then hopefully I can get Mr. Tom Brubaker on from Lose so we can do that. That combo giveaway for the May winner. And if that doesn't turn out, then I'll come out with a different prize package too. I never make any assumptions about, you know, the people I partner with or things like that too. It's just, you know, it's just one of those things. So, yep. But when we finish up the last of the July Gramps, you know, I'll do the drawing for that power box right there. And for everybody who participated in that too. And if you've won any recent Gramps Live care packages or, you know, whatever I'm calling them, those went out in the mail today. RGM Fishtails just popped in the house. We're just doing a little quick chit chat. We're just about done because Debo's getting ready to go live. We were just talking a little bit about ICast and the new boats and baits and the Knucklehead Bass Fishing Series and the new Smallie series that I'm going to go start fishing for next weekend. And I'm looking forward to getting on the waters. And I'm going to be watching a bunch of different videos and trying to learn how to Smallie fish. And I'll probably follow a lot of my favorite YouTubers for sources of information. And as well as listen to the Smallie, you know, the Smallie Talk podcast that's run by a couple of guys here out of Indiana, I believe, up in Indy. And yeah, so we're just going to go learn. But I'm going to take those monster bass rods, throw some reels from American Legacy Fishing on them, and go beat them up and see if I can't catch me some smallmouth bass. And I'll mix it up. I'm going to take the paddle kayak out, and I'm going to take the Old Town out, and we'll see how it goes. And next meetup, who knows? It's so far away. Right now, the focus is on the smallmouth Smallie series, the October trip to Gunnersville. Oh, let me back up before October. Sometime in September, Gramps is going to be driving down to Fort Worth, Dallas, Texas. We're going to go down to Glen Rose, Texas, and pick up the new trailer for the Cadillac from FTK Trailers. If you guys haven't seen my shorts on that, I have found the perfect trailer to me for my needs and reached out to the guy. We're partnering up. He's a brand new trailer maker. I love his innovation. I love the way he's got a kayak trailer that you can walk up and down without slipping and this and that, because Gramps is getting old and he likes to wear Crocs, and Crocs are slippery. I need a kayak trailer that's easy for me to launch no matter what ramp I'm at, and this guy came up with the solution. So we partnered up. I put in my money, down payment to start my trailer build. I ain't getting free trailers. I mean, the guy's starting a new business. But we're going to work together. I'm going to promote his product because I think it's just like with me right now in Old Town. The best stuff that fits me is what I promote. You guys saw me you saw me try to sway. I swayed away from Old Town for a minute and came right back because I realized a superior product as soon as I tried something else. But that's just me. But, you know, it's one of those things. I kind of find what I need. And then I share it with you guys too. I'm not going to tell you guys, you know, oh, hey, this is the best. Don't buy anything else. You know what? If you want to fish in a Bonafide, a Hobie, a Jackson, an Old Town, the new Native Titan X looks amazing. Check them out. Go find yourself. You know, we want everybody to be in the best kayak that they can afford. It might be a Lifetime Teton that you get started with. We all started with, you know, this stuff from Walmart. And then I even moved up into a Future Beach Angler 144. And then, yeah, New Canoe, like RJM said, there's so many, you know, as I look back at the last 10 years, all the innovation in the kayak space, it still just amazes me where we've gone from then till now, and then where we're going to be in another 5 years, another 10 years. Who knows? My autopilot dreams of One Boat Network, maybe it'll come true. You know, I'd love to see that day before I left this earth, and I still got lots of time left. But, you know, it's just one of those things. But, yeah, you know, I'm continuing with the beginner kayak series, too. I got a video that I shot today. I'm editing tonight, and I've still got a few other little tidbits to do. And I've got a couple other videos on the list of stuff to do. But, you know, by that time comes around and I get those videos out, saw a guy hauling ass on an Old Town Autopilot thing on a local lake. Well, we get about 4.5 miles per hour, depending on how much stuff we get in there. But it's good to see Rich in here too. It's good to see everybody popping in. Make sure you check out his live stream. He's always informative. If you've ever wanted to know anything about Dobbins rods, go back and watch Hellabass's video with Gary, 2 videos with Gary Dobbins, and you will learn so much about that line. I love that. That's how I found Hellabass's channel. And, he is the go-to guy, but you can learn a lot from Hellabass he's a tournament angler with a lot of experience. And, he will help you definitely suck less when it comes to bass fishing. I need to go. I need to go watch some stuff too, because these summer patterns, I mean, they whip my butt sometimes. But I did catch my first mega live bass last weekend. I rolled by a spot with side imaging and I said, oop, that's something to look at. I turned back around. I put the forward facing down. I confirmed fish were there. Now I'm not good enough and haven't dialed in enough yet where I can say, there's the fish. Here's my bait. And I watched it and then catch it. No, I just used it to verify there were fish on this spot that looked good. And I kept throwing that Texas rig into this spot, dragging it through. And then, I pulled out that 2.5 pound bass. I circled back around looking for other stuff. I came back to that spot and then caught, and of course I haven't done a video on it yet, but I threw it back in there. And that's where I caught that 5 pound bass. And it was nice and fat last weekend too. So I've still got a lot to learn when it comes to modern electronics, but that's part of the game that we all do. Sometimes when you're a content creator, you don't have time to spend, sitting around watching everybody else's videos to learn this stuff. But I'm going to take some time dedicated to doing that as well. But that being said, it's 8:32. Debo will be live here in just a couple of minutes. I say y'all stay online, stay chatting, and go hop over to his channel and let's see what they got going on. Thanks for popping in. Again, I hope to be live on Wednesday. If not, I'll put a warning out as to when we get Mr. Tom Brubaker from Lose and Strike King on, so we can talk about all the new baits they have and then do that drawing as well. Thanks, everybody, for coming out and hanging out. Listen to this old dude just ramble on for an hour. I love talking to you guys. I love it when we just have topic-less video where we can just sit here and I can interact with the chat and everybody in the stream hanging out too. It's always fun to do that. But for now, I'm going to jump off of here. I'm going to put Debo on and the Braves, and we'll see you guys next time. As always, get outside when you can and make some memories, one cast at a time.